Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where last episode we started working on expanding out our food production. Specifically, oh, look at this. This farmer's hut collapsed. This is probably because we don't have a mason yard anywhere nearby. That's interesting though, because the rest of these around here, they definitely don't have any damage. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe the mason yard up here actually repaired these, but this was just too far away. I'm suspecting that's the issue. So let's put in a new farmer's hut here, and I'm just going to put in a mason yard up over here to help maintain this area. There we go. That should solve the problem, in theory. So we'll get that going, and of course we've got additional food production coming in over here, and additional cotton production on the way too, if we would ever build this farmer's hut. Which we don't seem very interested in doing, to be honest. So that's absolutely fine. I'm noticing that we have a lot of money coming in. I'm going to boost our wages up to the maximum at this time, and we'll see how that ends up going. So wages are now maximum, and that seems good. We'll see if that continues to be very profitable for us or not. Should be absolutely fascinating. So at this point, what problems do we need to solve? Well, we need to get our prosperity up, we need to get our culture up, we need to get our might up, we need to get our prestige up. All of those things are kind of in progress. We've got a great temple going in, we've got a royal palace going in. All of that is going to take a little while. One thing I'm actually thinking about doing is running a road like this, and then running this road down here like that. We don't have a similar road connection here, but we can run this out this direction, and then just run bridges. Actually, we can't run bridges there, but we can run this road out this way and have these crossings. The lack of bridges here, of course, is due to the canals. We could run bridges here, though. So what that would end up meaning, essentially, if I don't tab out of the game, if I actually press the road button, there we go. Hopefully, OBS won't crash, and it did not. That means that we can have crossings be like this, all across here. So that seems fine. I'm not terribly concerned about that. And then we can just run a road all the way up like that. Okay, sure. And then down over here, we can do the same thing where we would have this here, but this is kind of, this is spaced in a different way up here. So actually, we can just have the crossings be where these roads intersect. And that's relatively fine. It doesn't look the best, but it'll be okay. Yeah, it'll be fine. And then up over here, we could have the road actually be here. Kind of like that. Yeah, that seems doable. Some of our workshops need cash, so that would be this goldsmith. It's not getting the axe monies. Ah, this collector isn't working because it's in too unsightly of a neighborhood. Fair enough. Let's extend our stone road down through here. And let's have this be upgraded to stone road. And that's going to be all of these areas right up over here. I'm just going to make this entire region be stone road. We produce our own stone, so it's really, really not a financial problem to do this. So that all seems fine, and we're just going to do something like this, like this. There we go. And then I'm not going to upgrade this yet. We'll come back to that. This road here should probably be upgraded, though. There we go. Are you happier now? Yeah, there we go. Now the collector is happy. Sounds good. So we should no longer be having a lack of cash in our goldsmith. Yep, that looks great. And financially, we are down a little bit in terms of our profit, but overall, it's okay for now. Seems to be holding firm even with the wage increase. So that's good. We're going to have that gold artwork soon enough, and we only need that for the royal palace, so we're really not too concerned about that one. Okay, what other problems do we potentially have here? Some of our buildings need herbs. This is true. This is true. Particularly this herbalist. Well, and other herbalists. But for the moment, I don't really want to fill everything up with gardens, I feel like. Although we could just say, you know, we can remove gardens as needed. So we could do that. So if we were to put a gardener somewhere down over, say, here, I don't like this position. I actually want to have it here because this position blocks these two. So we would instead rather have gardens here. We can put in some gardens up over this way. We can put in some gardens over here. That's 14 out of 30 as of right now. I'm expecting this to be a road here, but we could do gardens like that. And then we could do gardens out over here. I don't want to take out this tree. That does get chopped. But that brings us up to 30 out of 30. Okay, so where else do we have an herbalist? We have one here. We can do a gardener about here. And then we can have some small gardens be in here. And then small gardens be in here. That brings us to 10 out of 30. And then that's 16 out of 30. I don't really want to use this space over here. Oh, we don't have a road going down this direction. We probably should. Let's get that in there for now. And then we can do... That's 23 out of 30. Is that not a road there? Apparently that's not a road. Okay, we'll put that in. And then that's out of range. We can use up a little bit more space up here, potentially. So that would be like 24 out of 30. We can actually reach to there, but we can't reach here, unfortunately. Noted. So this is 26 out of 30 right now. We could just do something like that. And then just put in something like this, theoretically. That's 30 out of 30. So then we've got an herbalist up here. There's actually quite a lot of space here that we can put gardens in. So we've got 2 here, we've got 6 here, we've got 10 here. And that brings us up to 16. This is then 18. This is 20. That's 24. And then we can do a little bit out over here. That's 28. And then that would be 30, like that. Then we've got another herbalist down here. We can put in a gardener about here. And then there's a fair amount of space here that we can fill up. We'll probably want to remove some of these gardens later on, to be clear. That's 13 out of 30. I'm going to put in some gardens up here. Again, we're probably going to remove these later. Get rid of that one and put that here. Okay, something like that. That'll get us herbs for our herbalists. They're not great, and we're almost certainly going to want to move some of them around later, but that's okay. So that looks good for now. What else do we have for problems? Some of our pending structures are impossible to reach. Well, that's out over here, and that just needs chinampas. I'm not worried about that for now. In fact, how are these chinampas doing? They're not fully built, and I'm not terribly shocked about that one. This is swamp right here. We actually missed a spot of chinampa. We'll get that going. Excellent. So we'll just reclaim our way out over this way. As far as our maze goes, we're pretty positive on our maze right now. That's excellent. And the real question is, how's it going to go once these farms are fully online? Because they're not yet. Particularly this farm is not online. This one's mostly there, but definitely not entirely. Okay, so as of right now, we're in the next year, and we were net negative, but then we got a shipment from exporting cotton. So that seems good. I want to take a look at some of these homes here. Pottery. This one needs education. Fair enough. Yeah, that's not really reached here, and this is adequate service usage. It's probably going to get a lot more later. So we're going to instead come down here, and I'm thinking about putting it in about here-ish. Yeah, that seems fine. But pottery is definitely a thing that we could think about. I'm wondering what the population over here is like. It's pretty filled up. And out over this direction, it's also pretty filled up. So I think we're going to need to expand some of our housing. And we've got this porter yard here that gets clay. So that seems okay. Here's what I'm thinking. We take this stone road up and around here, and this should be a stone road. Then we are maybe concerned about reach here. Okay, noted. So let's put in some common homes here, like this. Then, down over this direction, I'm going to put in some kilns. I don't know how many we're going to need. For now, I'm thinking... I don't like this spacing. Something like that? It's still not great spacing. And then this porter yard up here can be set to accept pottery. And then that will distribute it to this market, and it'll distribute it to this market as well. So this market will get it a long ways out over here. We've got this porter yard, which can be getting pottery, and that will distribute it to the complete and utter lack of market that is down here. That's a bit of an issue. Yeah, we definitely don't have a market here. So a small market would fit in here, and that'll reach a lot of these. I would prefer it to go here. Or we could maybe put it here. Ish. That doesn't really fit up over here. I think what we're going to have to do is put it in here and then put another market up over this way. We're currently blocked by something here. Swamps probably would be my guess. If we were to Chinampa like out to here or so, yeah, it's a swamp right there. Okay. So that's noted. We need another market out over here, and that'll be fed by this porter yard. And will that reach from this granary? Probably, yes. So that seems okay. We need to be getting pottery here. Now, up over this direction. This market is heading all the way up over here, but we really probably do need a new market up over here. I'm going to upgrade this to stone road for now. And then we're going to put in another market about right here to help serve some of this area up here. And I think we're going to need another one about here or so, maybe about here, to be able to reach this guy. Yeah, something like that. This porter yard reaches to here, but it does not reach this market. So we're going to need a new porter yard. I'm going to put that in right there, and that's going to be clay, stone, and timber. We're going to be getting all of those. And then also pottery. We're going to be getting that one. This market is, of course, fed by this granary. So that should be relatively fine as far as all that goes. We've got a market up over here and a market here. This market is fed by this porter yard, which can be getting pottery. And then this market is fed by this porter yard, which can also be getting pottery. What is this market fed by for food? It does reach that granary. Okay. So that seems relatively fine. We'll get that all underway. Is this Chinampa up over here done already? No, it's right here. It is maturing. So they've already provided the resources for it. That's good. I want to make sure that this road exists all the way around this edge. So that seems fine. I believe it does over here. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll get that underway, and we know that there's water issues out over here too. So let's put some basic services over here. I'm going to do a well dipper, I'm going to do a sweeper, and I'm going to do a sentry post. I'm actually going to move this sweeper to here, and we're going to extend this road out kind of like that. Okay, so that'll reach a lot of this area out over here. So that looks good. And this mason yard does reach down here. It doesn't quite reach all the way down to like here, but we can definitely put in another mason yard about there to help out with this. So there we go. That looks good. We're waiting on this Chinampa up over here to finish. It's very, very close at this point. It's at 70. So we do need to put in our market about here. Now, this market is not going to be fed by a granary at this time. So we need one of those. Would a granary fit in up here? Yes, right there. And then, actually, no, it needs to be up one more. Because this is 3 spaces, but we need a space for the road. So it's going to go here. This road is going to dead end here, but that's okay. I don't mind that. And then the market goes there, like that. This granary is going to be accepting maize, fruit, and chili. There we go. And we'll get that all underway. That should help significantly. Some of our masons are lacking timber. That shouldn't be an issue. We do have timber in stock, and we're making quite a lot of it. So that's probably just we need to wait for distribution to occur. So everything is looking pretty okay at this point. I don't want to get this shrine built, of course, but that'll require artwork. And we do have a mason yard right here. It's out inspecting buildings, so I think we're just waiting on that artwork to be produced. Now, our royal palace has actually been built. So that's good. No doubt about that. We need access to a dentist, and we can absolutely put one in. So that'll be... I'm just trying to decide where we might want to do this. Probably somewhere where it can also reach down over this way, ideally. So that would end up being, you know, maybe even all the way down over here. Where's that gardener at? The gardener is here. So that would reach the dentist. Beautiful. So we'll get that dentist in there. That will start providing dentist services to the royal palace. We'll keep an eye on what else that needs. The Great Temple is still being worked on. It's got a ways to go, and that's absolutely understood. The Shrine to Quetzalcoatl, it just needs artwork. We need artwork in this alcove as well. So for now, that'll have to do. Checking in these areas, need access to more religion. Well, we're working on it. We've got multiple things here. We've got the Great Temple. We've got the Shrine. Both of those are happening. So that seems good. We can see that we're definitely getting these canals built a lot further south now. So that's phenomenal. I mean, south is not really a relevant thing in an isometric game, is it? Southwest. We're building them to the southwest. So that's great. We can see that this sweeper is going to need some additional timber, but we've got timber here in the porter yard. That should get built very quickly. In theory. This market is now operational, as is this granary. That seems good. How are we doing on that food number? Okay, we're still pretty positive on food. We're still pretty positive on finances as well. We've got these kilns active, and this porter yard is going to be accepting that pottery and distributing that out to all of these areas, so that looks good. Yeah, we still need pottery over here, so we're working on that. We need 50 stone down over here to build these kilns. Interesting. I'm wondering why those haven't been built yet. This sweeper was built. We've got 38 stone up in this porter yard right now, but stone is not really a significant problem. Or at least it shouldn't be. We've got 322 in stock overall. We could get an additional stone quarry, or a lot of additional stone quarries. That's definitely something that we could do. But I don't think we need to be honest. I think we just need to be patient. Yeah, these have been built now. So that looks good. And they are now beginning to produce their pottery. So that looks great. The question is this enough pottery production? I don't know. We'll find out. We can always expand it later. So out over here, we need access to pottery for all of those, and we're absolutely working on that. Our might is still a little bit on the low side, and we've got our exports out over here. We may want to consider putting in a barracks, not to defend ourselves necessarily, but instead... Is this really a good spot for it? It's going to block a road basically no matter what, but only the one road. I think if we put it here, that's fine. But yeah, this is not really to defend ourselves so much as it is, yeah, something like that. And then we can just pretend there's a road here. There isn't. But we can pretend. Not so much to defend ourselves, but to provide the supervision for our trading posts. So we'll get that going. That'll boost up our might, and that might be enough might. We only need 30. So we'll see. We'll get that underway, and that will definitely help defend these trading posts. I see that we are building up our amount of cotton in the trading posts very slowly, but we're building it up. So that means that we probably do not require additional cotton weavers at this time. Now, cloth is something that we don't really have at this point. We would need to set up an import for that. Would we have to get Megui from the capital? Because we can't grow it. We can get it here. Okay. So we don't have to get it from the capital. That's a good sign. That is, in fact, a very good sign. I see that our might is now high enough, so we don't need to worry about additional might. That's fantastic. Our prosperity is now almost halfway to where it needs to be. Okay, we now are starting to deliver pottery out over here. That's great. We can see that we're at 0 of 20 pottery, and we're going to continue to be at 0 of 20 for a while. Our real question is, if we go into our resources here, it's under one of these. Here we go. If we go into here and we check in on our pottery, we can see that our consumption is actually quite low as of right now. Our current year consumption is 3, and we're projecting 4. I don't think this is accurate. I think we got to let that sit for a little bit. Let the pottery get distributed, and then we'll determine if we have enough pottery production or not. This might be enough pottery production. So these guys out over here, they have access to everything they need, so they're getting all of their services. That's great. The Royal Palace wants more diversion. It wants an alcove, plaza, or house of song. We can definitely work on that. A plaza would not be a bad thing to do right now because we do have some space. Awful symmetry. Down here, though, this is strong symmetry, and I like this spot. That'll reach a lot of places. So we can do that, and then a House of Song can go in somewhere like here, theoretically. Yeah, I don't hate that. We can put in a House of Song up here, but actually I would prefer it to go down over this way. Maybe even here. And then, of course, we do want to have an alcove that is providing some amount of services up over this way. So we could do that here, and that will also provide some services over here. So that's going to be a lot of additional diversion for the Royal Palace. Seems good. But those are going to take a little while to build. Artwork is a bit of a thing for us, right? Our masons are very busy making repairs, and they're not spending very much time doing artwork. We should probably consider building at least a couple more mason yards. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one out over here. For sure. I may even put one here, and one down over this way. About there. Yeah, something about like that. So we'll get a couple of mason yards going in here. That seems good. We've got a market down over here. That's not a problem. That's going to get dealt with. But these additional mason yards, the goal behind them, of course, is to make it so that we're spending less time doing repairs and producing more artwork. Because we do need more artwork at this time. Artwork is a significant lack for us. We're getting a little trickle of it right now, but not much. So that looks good. Net negative so far this year, but it's very early in the year, so I'm not concerned about that right now. We're pretty positive on our maize as well, so no issue there as of right now. I'm checking in on our granary numbers, and we're not building up tremendous stockpiles of maize as of yet. Oh, this one's building up a decent amount. Barely any fruit here, though, but we are building up some. So that's good to know. Now, we're continuing to work down over this direction and just slowly working on pushing out this way. I do want to get another set of roads going here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it would go here. And then we just extend this road all the way out. Yep, right there. Perfect. So we're just going to get that in. I'm not immediately planning on building farms down here. That is a very significant flood up over this direction. But that's probably going to be reduced somewhat. Actually, that's going to be reduced very thoroughly by what we have set up here for canals. We can even upgrade these to stone canals on the outside if we need to, but I don't think we're going to need to. So we're definitely seeing our houses beginning to upgrade. That's great. If we go into our culture score is pretty low, as is our prestige score. Now, our prestige is kind of just a combination of everything. So our culture score, we need to boost our city religion is a pretty big thing here. And that's understood. We'll see what happens once we finish up this great temple. This is a lot of flooding. Wow. Okay. We've definitely not experienced that level of flooding yet. But that's okay. We've got the mason yards. I'm not particularly concerned about it. It'll be fine. They are going to have to do some repairs. So that might delay our artwork a little bit, but I'm glad we got the additional mason yards anyway. So that seems good. I'm assuming you're getting pottery, right? Yeah, eventually anyway. So I want to check in now on our pottery situation. So that's Polk. One of these is pottery. Should be this one. Okay. So we can see now that we're producing, last year we produced 130. This year we're projected to produce 147. Okay. Our consumption is not all that high. We're still trying to distribute it all out. So we don't actually have a good feel of what our consumption of pottery is going to be. So I don't know how many kilns we need to make here. It's an amount. We will need to make an amount of kilns. But I don't know what that amount is. Bandits, okay. We need 5 artwork up over here. That's actually going pretty well. That's interesting, because we have the plaza completed at this time. So at this moment, the Royal Palace wants an alcove. We're building it. It's underway. That'll get there soon enough. Looking at these houses, yeah. So now they're wanting cloth. So this is not surprising. Let's go ahead and build a trading post. I'm going to put this in about here. And I want this to be... We're going to need Megui, right? So I don't want to trade with the hinterland, I don't think. We want to trade with Chalco. What is the Chalco export of Megui? They can do up to 120. So that's what we're going to do. Sounds good. So then we're going to need some cloth weavers somewhere out over here. Now this porter yard is at 6 of 6. So we're going to need a new porter yard or a porter stop out over here. I'm going to go with a porter yard, I think, out over on this side. We don't have a lot of materials out over here right now. So we're going to be getting clay, stone, and timber. We're then going to accept cloth, and we're going to be getting Megui. But I don't think we necessarily need to. And then we're going to put in a couple of cloth weavers out over here. So how many of these are we going to need? Well, probably not many. I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's probably sufficient. This porter yard does not reach this market, and this porter yard is maxed. So we're going to need to potentially move this porter yard and the trading post. The trading post is sadly already started. I'm going to stop this porter yard here. Well, actually, no. I've changed my mind. I want this porter yard here. Clay, stone, obsidian, timber, and we're going to be accepting cloth and getting Megui for right now. Okay, that's what I want. Out over here, I'm going to put in another porter yard. This porter yard is going to go about here, and that does reach this market. So this is going to be clay, stone, and timber, as usual. We're going to be getting all of those, and then we're going to be getting cloth. There we go. So out over this direction, we need to supply these markets. Now, this is at 4 of 6, so we can be getting cloth here. This porter yard is at 5 of 6. We can be getting cloth as well. That seems good. Down here, this is fed by this porter yard. This can absolutely be getting cloth. So that will feed this market. No problem there. Where are you getting your pottery from? I guess it can directly get it from the kilns, right? I think it can. It's getting its pottery from somewhere. So we'll accept it. Actually, it might be getting it from this porter yard. Okay. Down over here, we're at 4 of 6. We need to be getting cloth. And then down this direction, we need to be getting cloth as well. So that should be providing cloth to nearly all of our markets. This one up over here is supplied, but this one is not. It is. Never mind. Okay, that's all of our markets. Good. With the possible exception of this one, I suppose. You can just get cloth, though. Okay, there we go. Now it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to get this cloth going and start working on bringing up our prosperity. Our culture is going to need to come up as well, no doubt about that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.